Hey guys, how's it going? I hope you're having a very good day. Let's get this May book review video on the way. You guys know the drill. Annotations are at the bottom of the video, so feel free to click on any of the links to jump to that specific review. Nailed it! So my first book review, guys, is Leviathan by Scott Westerfeld. This is the first book in the Leviathan series. This was released back in 2009. This is actually a reread for me. It was like reading it for the first time because it's been so long. Yeah, let me tell you what the story is all about. Leviathan is the alternate history of World War I. The story is told from two different perspectives. We have Alec, who is the prince of the Austro-Hungarian Empire, and we find out at the beginning of the book that his parents have been assassinated by his own people. I know. Yeah, so Alec has to get out of his country really quickly because his people are after him to hurt him, no less. But Alec is not alone. He's accompanied by his fencing master, Count Volker, as well as the master of mechanics, Klopp. And they are good people and they're trying to get Alec out of there. Our other main character is Darren Sharp, and we find out that she loves to fly. So why not go to the British Air Service and do what she loves? Twist, she's a girl. She's not allowed to do that, so she disguises herself as a boy, and through events and circumstances she finds herself enlisted within the British Air Service on the greatest ship, no less, the Leviathan. So those are two main characters. The assassination of Alec's parents starts this great war between the clankers and the Darwinists. Alec obviously identifies himself as a clanker and Darren allies herself with the Darwinists. So we have two characters on opposing sides. What will happen? You'll find out. Next, guys, let's talk about the characters. One of my favorite aspects of this series for sure. Alec, he's fantastic. I really liked him. Alec, who has lived with the luxuries of being a prince, finding out his parents have been assassinated, of course, takes him aback, and you know, he has to adapt really quickly to the situation at hand. And that's what I really admired about Alec, is his ability to adapt quickly to the circumstances and what has been dealt to him. It's very devastating, obviously, and it was very interesting to see how Alec copes with what has happened. Overall, Alec is good people. He has a very good heart, very good intentions, and you see that throughout the series. And as far as Darren Sharp, who is fantastic, she is quite the opposite as far as her character and personality compared to Alec, who is more reserved. Darren, she's more forthcoming. She's not afraid to speak her mind and do what she has to get things done. And what I really liked about Darren as well, she's very smart and resourceful. She has a lot of experience in the air, and so this really helps her in really tight situations when she's up in the Leviathan or when there's some trouble brewing in the sky. So I thought Darren was just a fantastic female character, and what these two characters have in common is their struggle between doing what's right and their duty. Because the story alternates between Darren and Alec's perspective, they're great on their own, but together they're fantastic. They're so great together. I loved reading when they're in the same chapters. It's so much fun. Next, guys, let's talk about the plot of Leviathan. I really liked it. The setting of Leviathan takes place a lot on the ship, the Leviathan, the big beast, and I thought that was fantastic. I thought there was a good balance between the action and adventure aspect as well as the exposition. I don't know what was going on in my head, but it was just hard imagining sometimes what these beasts look like or what these walkers look like, these great machines. There were times in the story where I felt there were some aspects being overly described, and maybe it was just too overwhelming for me to really picture it because it was so detailed. So that being said, guys, I'm going to give Leviathan by Scott Westerfeld 4 stars out of 5. I really enjoyed it. You know, I really love the characters. Definitely my favorite aspect of the story. And I really love the illustrations as well by Keith Thompson. Really helped me picture what these different elements look like. I was very excited to continue on with the second book, and that is Behemoth. This is the sequel to the Leviathan series. Let me talk to you briefly and vaguely about what Behemoth is all about. In Behemoth, we have a character who's trying to calm the waters between both sides and hopefully prevent this war from escalating. So Alec and Darren are en route to make this happen, but of course there are mishaps along the way, very big problems that these characters have to face, and you'll just have to find out in the sequel. It's insane, it's crazy. Next, let's talk about the characters in Behemoth and what I thought of their character development. Fantastic character development. I'm really liking Alec a whole lot. Alec has grown up watching people do things for him, and he wants to do his part and do things for other people. So he's really being more proactive within this war and trying to do the right thing and just be in the thick of things a lot more within Behemoth. So I thought his character development was really great. As far as Darren's character, we find out that Darren is having some feelings towards Mr. Alec. I will tell you this, there is very little to no romance at all within these first two books. If you're looking for a series that have very, like, none at all. There's some, you know, tension there. I love romantic tension. But as far as really gushy, mushy stuff, Leviathan does not have it. I don't know how Goliath is. I'm really looking forward to see how that turns out. But so far within these first two books, romance, zilch, but some pretty funny romantic tension. It's a lot of fun. But yes, Darren is feeling the feelings and she doesn't know what to do. And what continues on from Leviathan is again that struggle between duty and doing what's right. Darren is really struggling with this aspect of her character, and it's really great to see how she approaches Alec and what she has to do. There are new characters being introduced into the second book. Some of the characters didn't love so much. I wasn't attached to them like I am attached to Alec and Darren and Count Volgar and Klopp and the Lady Boffin as well. Let's talk about the plot in Behemoth and what I thought of the plot progression. What killed me while reading Behemoth is I was expecting to read more Alec and Darren chapters. I wanted more Alec and Darren chapters. That was probably my biggest qualm about the second book, because I really enjoyed reading about them in the first book. It was kind of like Lord of the Rings where people get separated. It's like, can't we all just come together? As well, where Leviathan focused more on the Darwinists and the really great beasts. In Behemoth, it really focused on the walkers and the clankers in this book. As far as the pacing is concerned, I thought the beginning to 3/4 of the book was slow to steady pace. And of course, at the end, it's more ramped up. Things are very fast paced. As per usual, they always do that. It's like, can't we just get the pacing, you know, kind of even and just kind of quick. But that being said, guys, I'm going to give Behemoth by Scott Westerfeld 3.5 out of 5 stars. I liked it. I didn't like it as much as Leviathan. Yes, it was the lack of Darren and Alec chapters. You know, I'm not necessarily looking for a romantic relationship between these two, kind of, not really. But just reading them together is so fun. So much fun. And I think the pacing was just a bit uneven for me, but overall, still love the characters and the different elements popping up within this world, especially with beasties that are so fun, so fun. So my last book review for you guys is Boneshaker by Sharia Praise. Let me tell you what it's all about. It's quite a long synopsis, so bear with me. We have the Klondike Gold Rush happening, and so the Russians who want to get in on the gold action, they hired an inventor called Leviticus Blue to create this big machine to drill in the earth to get that gold. And so Leviticus Blue was given the money to create this machine called the Boneshaker. He takes this bad boy for a test run and things go awry. He unfortunately hits this pipe that releases this gas that makes people into zombies, which is not good. Where did this gas come from? I don't know. So of course they had to wall up the city to contain this gas called the Blight, as well as the horde of zombies within the city. Yeah, I know. And so 16 years later, we have Leviticus Blue's wife, Briar Wilkes. She has a son. She's working hard to keep her and her son afloat, and her situation definitely does not help being once married to Leviticus Blue, who kind of ruined everything. But Ezekiel, also known as Zeke, he takes it upon himself to go into the walled up city with all the zombies to find out the truth, to clear his father's name. So Briar Wilkes, she is a mom on the mission. She is not having this at all. So she goes after Zeke into the walled up city to get him back. So that is a very long synopsis of what Boneshaker is all about. I know. Let me talk to you guys about the characters and what I thought of them. The characters were not my favorite aspect of the story, unfortunately. Briar Wilkes, she is a mom on a mission. She is definitely definitely that archetype for sure. You know, we had it in Mrs. Bennet in Pride and Prejudice, Sarah Connor with the Terminator, and Catelyn Stark. Oh my gosh, too soon. Too soon. Yes, the mom on the mission, Briar Wilkes, is definitely this type of character, and for me, I think I was wanting more. I was expecting more of her character other than, you know, her wanting to get her son back. Obviously, she wants her son back, but I wanted more backstory from her character. I was wanting to read, you know, some flashback moments of Briar Wilkes' past, but you do not get that, unfortunately. But as the story progressed towards the end of the book, she really developed and she had a lot more personality, which I really liked. As far as her son Zeke, unfortunately, I did not love Zeke. The story alternates between Briar's perspective and Ezekiel's perspective and what he's up to, and I didn't feel his chapters were really necessary. I didn't feel his chapters really added to his character and knowing what his character is all about. We hear from Briar Wilkes that her son is smart and resourceful, but I was hoping to see those qualities that his mother was talking about come through in his chapters, and I didn't feel that was the case. As far as the other characters, I think I love the side characters and the minor characters a lot more than our two main characters. We have Lucy the barkeep. She's fantastic. I thought she was full of personality and character. She was so much fun and very sweet. And we have the princess, Miss Angeline, and she was fantastic as well. She is rough and tough and you do not want to mess with this princess. As far as the antagonist is concerned, yeah, he was okay. It didn't really focus on the antagonist that much. It was really more focused on, you know, the search to find Zeke. Next, guys, let me talk to you about the plot of Boneshaker. I think I kind of already talked about it within the characters. Yeah, did I talk about it already? I think I did. As far as the pacing is concerned, I thought the first half of the book was quite slower paced. The first 100 pages was the synopsis on the back here. I was reading through that, and I thought that was a bit too long to get through what I already knew about the story. And by the halfway point, I thought things really got going. We meet Lucy in the second half. The elements, we have the zombies. I thought they were really cool. The gas masks are really cool, kind of claustrophobic a little bit. I cannot imagine being in a mask for so long in this environment and just like not freaking out. I thought the world building overall was just fantastic. I thought the pacing throughout the story really built up this environment and the walled up city and the outskirts and what these characters were going through. But yes, the characters and stories kind of fell short compared to the world building, kind of. So with that being said, guys, I'm going to give Boneshaker by Sharia Priest 3 stars out of 5. I think I should have, you know, lowered my expectations a little bit. I was like super excited when I read the synopsis and the different elements that, you know, made up the story. Would have loved to see more zombies and more graphic, violent things. I wanted more graphic violence. I finished The Walking Dead. Oh my god, The Walking Dead, it was so good. But yes, that's everything, guys. I hope these book reviews were helpful. I'm really looking forward to Goliath, the last book in the Leviathan trilogy. I need more Darren Alec action. Not that kind of action. People, come now. But yes, that's everything, guys. I will talk to you later. Have a very good one. Bye.